This episode of Shaun of the South is brought to you by Case Knives, a tradition in my family dating back to my granddaddy, who once said the best cure for idle hands was to build something. So keep your hands sharp with a Case knife. And by our buddies at WNC Original Music. My pal Ron Taylor scours the country, gathering and curating music that will bless your heart and blow your hair back. Do yourself a favor and visit WNC Original Music Podcast today. You won't regret it. Well, you are listening to Shaun of the South, and I'm your host today, Sean Dietrich, and man, we got a great show lined up ahead of here, coming to you live via the podcast airwaves and the radio waves all over this fine nation. I'm sitting in the studio with my guitar. I've never done this, and I've always wanted to do this. I always wanted to play music for the people who are good enough to listen to this show, this mediocre show without any kind of compass or direction. We just turn on the microphone and we go. And if you find yourself having to use the little boy's room in the middle of recording, well, tough luck, which is where I am right now. We did a short rehearsal just to warm up the old voice, and then we hit record, and now here I am, and I'm stuck before you, and I'm probably going to be playing everything a whole lot faster than normal because of that immense pressure in my bladder. So I will apologize for that. But I like to play some good old songs for you. I love old songs. I love old things. The guitar that I'm holding on my lap is a 1919 Stella guitar. Now, Stella made these old guitars a long time ago that were parlor guitars, meant for playing in your parlor. They were small, and they were well, they're not too nice. They're actually kind of mediocre guitars, and it's got this old sound because it is old. It's 100 years old, and I play it. It shows all over. I've played it in 30 states this past year. I think I said that in earlier podcasts. And I love playing old things. I love touching old things. I love antiques. Antiques are one of my favorite things in the world. Good Lord. I feel like when I see them, I'm going back in time. It's no different when you're playing music on an old instrument, because it feels almost like you've been injected into a time machine. And so when you play the old songs that were written in this era on a guitar that was around during this era, you have a feeling that you're there and that you're of the same mind and same spirit as those musicians who lived long ago, who played songs like this one here, which is my home state song. Way down upon the Swanee River, far, far from home, that's where my heart is turning ever, back with the old folks at home. All the world is sad and dreary everywhere I roam. All down on the Swanee River, back with the old folks at home. Way down upon the Choctawhatchee, all over the place I roam. All up and down creation, as one of the old folks at home. All the world is sad and dreary everywhere I roam. Way down upon the Swanee River, my heart is with the old folks at home. on that little farm. I wondered back when I was young. My childhood days I squandered back with the old folks at home. Oh, the world is sad and dreary everywhere I roam. Oh, brother, how my heart grows weary, far from the old folks at home. Far from the old folks at home. I do love that song. I love that melody. I heard Stephen Foster wrote that before he had ever even seen the Swanee River. He just liked that name. Of course, that's a different part of Florida than I'm from. I'm from the Panhandle, but the Swanee is a gorgeous place. Went there once for my wife's birthday, and we floated down that river, and I saw alligators that were the size of Buicks, and we lost a lot of things that had been stored in our bowels during that trip. It's scary looking at something that's covered in black scales looking at you from a log. This guitar would have been used 100 years ago to play a style of blues called the Piedmont style blues, which is something I've always loved. Now, there's different kinds of blues. There's the Delta blues, which kind of goes like this. You've heard that before. That's a very popular style of blues. That's Piedmont. That's not Piedmont. That's the Delta. Kind of a Mississippi style blues. Well, there's another style of blues that predates the Delta blues, at least they say. It's called the Piedmont style blues, which really was developed by guys like Blind Willie and Blind Blake. These were black musicians who were street performers, and they played old parlor guitars like this. An old parlor Gibson or an old parlor Stella. These just old ugly guitars that were kind of cheap, and they'd have crummy strings. And the defining characteristic of the Piedmont blues that I always really liked was this alternating bass. And you do that with your thumb, and every song you play is more or less peppered with that. Now, they say this started in the Piedmont region, around South Carolina and such. But earlier evidence claims that I think it was Blind Blake, actually, in Florida, developed this style of blues, or was, one of the developers of this style of blues, which derives a lot of its vocabulary from ragtime, which is kind of a faster thing. I know you don't care about any of this. I'm telling you this to get up to this one point. To say that this style of blues, this alternating thumb bass thing, became the basis for a lot of country music. Merle Travis, Chet Atkins, Doc Watson. This was a huge part of their music, which I love. Also, this kind of blues was heavily influential on Jimmy Rogers and Hank Williams. The Piedmont blues. It's an old style of music. It's heavily influential on country music, and probably one of the coolest things I like about it is it's hard. This is hard to play. This alternating thumb style stuff is tough, and you have to get your other fingers working. I've worked for years at this, and you get your thumb going on autopilot, and then now you gotta get your index finger and middle finger going. You got this going. See how that goes? It's really tough. You can go. You like Dr. Pepper, you like Sprite. You got me feeling alright. Come on, baby, why don't we drink drink Coca-Cola and fall in love. I got your Dr. Pepper right here. You wanna try some A&W root beer? Come on, baby, why don't we drink Coca-Cola and fall in love? Think of all the fun you missed when all you got to do is give me a kiss. I got a sweet tooth for my sweetheart, nothing that Dr. Pepper can impart. See, I got your Dr. Pepper right here, or I can give you some A&W root beer. Come on, baby, why don't we drink Coca-Cola and fall in love? Think of all the fun you miss when all you gotta do is give me a kiss. I got a sweet tooth for my sweetheart, Dr. Pepper cannot impart. Say, I got your Dr. Pepper right here. How about some A&W root beer? Come on, baby, why don't we drink Coca-Cola and fall in love? Of course, they played a lot of gospel music back then too, and I use this thing to play a lot of that. I love gospel music. You know, gospel music is kind of, I mean, aside from all the religious implications that come with it, a lot of people tack religious implications on anything, everything. And I used to know a preacher who would preach a sermon, and he was just real big on the numbers, and he would even count the numbers at the bottom of the page, the bottom right-hand corner of the page, and he would, say things like, well, this is page 20 and this is page 21. You add them together, you got 41, and you divide that by 2, and you've got a decimal, and if you please turn into your Bibles to such and such. He's real big on numbers. Well, aside from the religious implications, I like gospel music because of what it says to the soul, which is, if you take all the lyrics aside, this melody and these lyrics have been around since before you were born. They were sung by your ancestors, and they were sung by your ancestors' ancestors, and they were songs that they thought were very special, and the really, really good ones were songs that were thought to be even more special. That's why they've lasted this long. Otherwise, they would have just died a slow death like Milli Vanilli. But somehow these songs were good enough to make it across centuries, and that's what I love. That's why I like gospel music. It makes me feel connected to my people who held these songs very dear. I wrote a book about my own life named after a gospel song. It was a gospel song in the hymnal. I remember, I think it used to be on page 136 in the old hymnal we had at our church. And it was the only hymn that I could see, at least that I remember, that had a question mark on it. Now, there are other hymns with question marks on it, but I liked this, and I'm going to play it for you here. With a circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better hold my waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. I am singing songs of childhood. I am singing songs of love. Someday soon we'll sing together in that glorious home above, with a circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Circle being broken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky, in the sky, in the sky. I do love that song. I think when my publishers asked me about that book title, they were thinking like a book title with a question mark in it. Well, that's bless your heart. But I had to have it, because when it comes to the story of my life, it seems like question marks abound. I never know what I'm doing or how I'm going to do it. In fact, you're probably getting that sense in this very podcast right now that I have no idea what I'm doing. And you would be right. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I guess I'm just singing to you. When I first met my wife, I sang to her, and she used to like it back then. But then she heard my voice a whole lot over the years, and she got tired of it. I have been messing with instruments my whole life. I play the accordion, I play the piano, I play the guitar, and I'm mediocre at all three, as you can hear today. But I do find much pleasure in it, and I find a whole lot of relaxation in it, and sometimes it makes my hands hurt a little bit because I think I'm developing a little arthritis from the years of playing. But I've found some good songs that I enjoy. That was a blatant mistake. I did it on purpose. Just want to tell you about a man named Boone who was born and raised in Tennessee. He made his living stealing chickens and everything that he could see. Popeye man, he run so fast that his feet never stayed in the road. And every time he see a freight car pass, he just had to get on board. He was a traveling man, he certainly was a traveling man. He was the travelingest man who was ever in the land. Lord, he traveled, he was known for many miles around, but he never got caught and he never got whooped till the police shot him down. The police had them an automobile for the purpose to chase old Boone. They kept him running from 6 in the morning to 7:30 in the afternoon. That Popeye man, he run so fast that fire come from his heels. He burned up the corn and he scorched the cotton and he cut a road to the farmer's field. He was a traveling man, certain was a traveling man. Lord, he was the travelingest man who was ever in the land. Lord, he traveled, we were known for many miles around, but he never got caught and never got whooped till the police shot him down. You know, the traveling man was on a Titanic ship on the very day it was sinking down. He was sitting up front with the captain, and everybody said, Lord, we're gonna drown. Everybody saw him jump overboard and they swore that he was a fool. But about 10 minutes later he was seen shooting dice somewhere yonder in Liverpool. He was a traveling man, certain was a traveling man. Lord, he was the travelingest man who was ever in the land. Ooh, he traveled, we were known for many miles around, but I never got caught and never got whooped till the police shot him down. But he never got caught and he never got whooped till the police shot him down. That's an old song that I learned from my father. He had all these little funny songs. Here's another song I learned from him. It's one of them songs, or I'll sing a few of them that I learned from him. These are songs that don't make a whole lot of sense, but they stick with me. They're old. They're real old. Some of them predate this guitar, but it's only fitting to sing some of these songs in memory of him. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? Buffalo gals, won't you stand at my door? Stand at my door, stand at my door. Buffalo gals, won't you stand at my door and dance by the light of the moon? Katie, beautiful Katie, you're the only one that I adore. When the moon shines over the cowshed, I'll be waiting at the kitchen door. They built the ship Titanic to sail the ocean blue, and they thought they had a ship, but the wind would never go through. Then the good Lord raised his hand and said, this ship will never land. It was sad when the great ship went down. It was sad, it was sad, it was sad when the great ship went down to the bottom of the sea. Husbands and wives and little children died. It was sad when the great ship went down to to the bottom of the sea. Lord, I remember singing that song with my daddy when I was just about 2 years old. One of my earliest memories. Matter of fact, I used to have this old Stella guitar that sit in my toy box. My daddy bought it from a garage sale. It was about this same year of guitar back then, I guess. He bought it without knowing how old it was. And I never put much value on it because I was just a little thing. And I'd sing this song with it, and I had no idea what I was playing. And I sounded like a kid. I sound like a kid. They built the ship Titanic to sail the ocean blue, and they thought they had a ship that the wind would never go through. When the good Lord raised his hand and said this ship would never land, it was said when the great ship went down. It was said when the great ship went down to the bottom of the husbands and wives and little children died. It was said when the great ship went down to the bottom of the sea. Well, as you can tell, I ain't the world's greatest guitar player, but I do enjoy the feeling of songs that mean not a whole lot to the masses today. I really do. I love to look for songs that have been overlooked from people, and I love to play songs that mean something to my wife and songs that mean something to, well, just my family members and stuff. Let's see. Play one more for you here. Why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why should my heart be lonely? Longing for heaven at home. When Jesus is my portion, my strongest friend is He. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He's watching over me. And I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. For His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches over me. Why should I feel discouraged when shadows come? Why should my heart be lonely, longing for heaven and home? Jesus is my portion, my strongest friend is He. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches over me. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and why not? He watches over you and me. He watches you and me, watching you and me. Hearing this song played during camp meetings. Anybody who's ever been raised as Southern Baptist or fundamentalist knows camp meetings. That's when an out-of-town preacher comes and he stands on the stage and he preaches something so loud that the vein in his head, that squiggly vein in his head, pokes out. And his only job is to get you to repent of things you ain't even done yet. Lord, I've repented of dancing 8 years before I ever learned how to dance. But I love this song. We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Lord. We are one in the Spirit. We are one in the Lord. And together we can make it if we stand in one accord. And I know we are Christians by love, by our love, and they know we are brothers by our love. I am a poor, wayfaring stranger who traveling through this wearisome land. Yet there's no sickness, toil, or danger in that bright wood to which I stand. I'm going there to see my brother. He said he'd meet me when I come. I'm gonna only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I know dark clouds will go before me. I know my way will be rough and steep, but beauteous fields away before me, and on that place I'm gonna sleep. I'm going there to see my Father. He said he'd meet me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. Well, let's see here. I got one more for you. I sang this song 100,000 times. Anybody in church, anybody who plays in bars, anybody who is just a hobby singer, anybody who owns a guitar, anybody who owns a trumpet has to learn how to play this song or sing this song, and they will be called upon to do it at funerals a lot, which is the place I've sang it the most. Sang it at my father-in-law's funeral. Sang it at my daddy's funeral. Sang it at my grandfather's funeral. If you are a singer at all, or not a singer at all, if you're just a human being, you probably know this song. So, I will play it on this old instrument, a song that was written a long, long, long time ago. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Twas grace that leads me safe this far, and grace that leads me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing and praise than when first begun. We've no less days to sing and pray than when we first begun. Have a good week. I appreciate you tuning into this podcast. It's been a very special pleasure for me. Thanks for listening to Sean of the South. I've been your host today, Sean Dietrich, and this episode was brought to you by case knives, a tradition of my family dating back to my granddaddy, who once said the best cure for idle hands was to build something, so keep your hands sharp with a case knife. And by Folklore Brewing and Meadery, quite literally the best brew in Alabama. Visit folklorebrewingandmeadery.com. Hey, it's been a pleasure coming to you today. That music you heard behind me today was me. I can't believe it. I hardly ever play music like that on my own podcast, but here I'm doing it. That's how you know this thing is going to the dogs. To find anything more about what I do, you can find SeanOfTheSouthShow.com on the internet, and there I hope you drop me a line to me about your birthday announcements, wedding invitations, and potluck socials, and I do my best to read them over the air for my friends when we do our live shows, because I love to do that sort of stuff for my friends. Speaking of friends, remember, if you have a good moment in your life, keep your phone in your pocket, because you remember it a whole lot better if you do. Adios.